Hey guys, Jonathan here, and today we'll be comparing every single LEGO Batmobile tumbler that's come out since the original in 2008. Now, we have the 2008, the 2013, the 2021, and the brand new 2025, which LEGO sent me earlier to review, but of course all thoughts are my own. Now, this is really fascinating to take a look back in history and see how the tumbler has evolved, considering the first one was the biggest, the second one was the smallest, the third one and the fourth one are only 7 pieces apart, but $20 in price apart, so it's gonna be crazy. Now, as we go through these, I'll be telling you the price, the piece count, how many figures were included, and at the end, I'll be ranking every single Batmobile in terms of their value, price for piece. So sit back and relax and enjoy this comparison of every LEGO tumbler ever. So we'll start our journey in 2008 with the original Tumbler. This came out the same year as the Dark Knight movie, which totally makes sense, and it retailed for $50, which adjusted for inflation would be about $73 in today's current money. Now, of course, we also got the Joker, a Joker henchman, and Uncle Joker's ice cream surprise van. And while we're not going to focus on that, I do just want to show you the complete picture of everything you'd get for the full context of what your $50 would have got you back in 2008. This entire video will be a comparison of just the tumblers, but as we're talking about prices, I think it's only fair to briefly show you everything that's included. And if you want to see a full review on the set, I've reviewed all 4 of these sets on the channel now, so you could go look up whichever ones you want. That being said, let's focus on the 2008 Tumbler. So with our original tumbler, we of course also had an original Batman minifigure. This of course was based off of the Dark Knight and came in 3 different sets in 2008. Of course, this set was the only one actually based off the Dark Knight film, but it was kind of interesting that they used the Dark Knight armor here in other comic book based sets. It is a really great minifig, of course, and we've got that classic Batman head underneath that was used on every Batman from 06 to 08. Then that old cowl on there really does the trick with making it look accurate while also nostalgic. That brings us to the tumbler itself, and this is the biggest of all 4 models so far. Being the biggest, it also has the most stickers. Check this out. We've got little missiles underneath here. These, I believe, are for fuel. We've got 2 on the windshield, 1 on the bat on the center, 1 in the center console, 2 more missiles, and then everything's repeated on the side. Actually, it appears this one might be missing a sticker. The downside of buying these used. I played with mine so much as a kid that it actually, fell apart, so this one is a used copy that I picked up a couple years ago, but you can see that this has absolutely massive tires on the front. We have flick fire missiles on the side, and then my favorite play feature was this ginormous missile that you could push this tab back and it would actually shoot the missile out spring-loaded, which was very cool. I feel like we don't see that feature as much in LEGO these days, so it's cool to see it here as such a predominant feature of the set. The undercarriage is pretty basic, but also very, very sturdy with all that Technic. Then, of course, we can open up the inside and see that this was ahead of its time in the fact that you could fit 2 minifigures inside. Of course, that's accurate to the films, and it doesn't really come with a minifigure that's supposed to go inside. You would have to fill that out with your own minifigs, I suppose, but we do, of course, have a space to put Batman, and we have a really cool console right here that has a sticker there with all of those little switches and whatnot, and then, of course, we've got the computer and the steering wheel. I also like that we have a window on the side for the figure to be able to look out of, and overall, I really think that this combines classic LEGO style with modern LEGO style, in the sense that I think that this could compete with a lot of superhero sets today. Although it is still kind of bulky, I feel like if this came out, I would still really dig it, especially because of the size. You know, when I think of the Tumbler, I'm always thinking of this giant tank, and as we move into the 2013 Tumbler, well, that's the opposite of giant. Yes, I was wondering what we would look at first, the 2008 or the 2013. This is the 2013 Tumbler, which is the smallest of all the minifigure scale tumblers, and of course it came with the bat and these little road blockage signs, and 3 minifigures, all exclusive to this set. So I think that this set was really cool in that respect, but of course, if you want to see the full review, I have that on the channel for you to check out. Right now, let's focus in on the Tumbler. All right, here's the 2013 Tumbler. Of course, the whole set was $40, adjusted for inflation. It'd be about $54 today, which honestly feels pretty right for what we just looked at. That being said, all 3 figures were exclusive, including this Batman, and it had 360 68 pieces. So the Batman minifig uses the modern style cowl, not the one that has the eyes in it from before, but the one that debuted in 2012. Underneath, we've got that Batman head that we had been getting for so many years before that new cowl put the white eyes in the cowl. Then, of course, we've got the torso here that looks really great with that Nolan Batman logo, and, of course, phenomenal back printing with a very detailed utility belt as well. Now, technically, in this set, Bane is the one driving the Tumbler, but I figured I'd show you Batman since every set does have Batman. That's kind of a fun side thing to compare too. Speaking of Bane, you'll notice that the stickers on the roof as well as the front here look like Bane's mouthpiece, and we've got some gun stickers on the side. That always looked weird to me because they're 2D, but they're supposed to be 3D, but it's fine. You know, this thing is so compact and tiny that it's the best they could do. Anyways, you can lift these wings up and push up these flick fire pieces here, which of course you just kind of like push through and they go like that. Or more aptly, you flick them. But regardless, we can open it up. And you see, actually, if I remove the windshield, which you're not supposed to do, it's just a little easier to see if I do that, that there's room for exactly one minifigure inside. So it's kind of interesting that our tumblers are 50-50 on being able to fit one figure or two. So really, that's all there is to say about this tumbler. It is so small, it's so basic. Not really sure what else we could go over, so let's move all the way up 8 years later to 2021. Okay, so that brings us now to the 2021 model of this set. This is probably my favorite one, to be honest with you. I think I got the proportions right, and I really like how it just builds back into these giant tires, but we'll look at that in a second. We do get Scarecrow here, but we'll save him for the review video if you want to check that out. Really, though, we are comparing all the Batman minifigs, so this one is actually based off of Batman Begins, because, of course, it comes with Scarecrow. This was our only Batman Begins minifig for quite some time, but we actually have gotten two over the years, interestingly enough. That being said, we get the standard Bruce Wayne head underneath with that white band. I showed you the back printing there, and overall, it's a really, really nice figure. Unfortunately, it does have that cloth cape. I'm a bigger fan of the paper ones, but it is what it is. This Batman is interesting because it's one of the only Batmans in history that comes with an alternate head underneath. Of course, this is for the fear toxin version when Scarecrow is seeing his own greatest fear of the Batman, and it looks actually really horrifying with that cowl on. So we'll go ahead and take that off and take a look at the Tumbler now. Like I said, this Tumbler is probably my favorite. I just really like how sleek it is and the way that everything kind of just folds back. Of course, my favorite part are these ginormous tires in the back. From the back, this is what I envisioned the Tumbler looking like, and I think it translated to Lego perfectly. Another thing I really like about this is, yes, it is a kid's toy, right? But it doesn't lean too heavy into play features. Like, for example, some of those other ones that have, like, flick fire missiles or things like that, they are cool for play, but this really does feel like a model made for adult collectors that could also be enjoyed by kids. It's really the perfect balance to me of what Lego can be in the modern era. And as we move on to the inside, you'll see that we have space for two minifigs on the inside, plus storage for Batman's grappling gun. And I really like over on the dashboard here, it's a little tricky to see, but when we look on the dashboard, you can see those great stickers there showing all of the Bat mechanics and stuff. And again, I just love that we get two seats here, and the steering wheel here is technically the most accurate to what we see in the film. So overall, I really, really like this and think it does the best job of showing the Tumbler. That being said, we do have some stickers here as well on the front nose, on the front of the wheels and the side here, but overall, they were able to contain themselves pretty well on the stickers, and overall, I think this one looks great. And now that brings us to the 2025 model, the second smallest of them all, and believe it or not, everything you see here is only 7 more pieces than the last set we saw, which of course just had 2 minifigs and the Tumbler itself. Now we get the Joker, Two-Face, and this bat signal, but just like always, if you want to see those, go ahead and check out the review video. We will take a look at Batman, though, to keep things going here, and we get a really nice Batman torso from The Dark Knight. Love the printing on this, really great all around. We do get the rubber cape on Dark Knight Batman for the first time, and I'm not a big fan of the rubber cape because from certain angles, you can see the skin around his neck and chin, which of course is not movie accurate at all. And it's really just the combo of this new cowl with this cape, because the old cowl with this cape does a pretty good job of hiding it, or just not using this cape at all when you have the thickness of the, the spongy cape, that kind of eats up that extra space there too. So overall, it's a fine figure. It's just not my favorite of them all. Speaking of things not being my favorite, here we go, guys. The 2025 Tumbler. I do really like the scale and the size. I think that works pretty well. And we do have a sticker on the nose here, but on the back, we are back to kind of play features with these stud shooters mounted under the back wings. And I really just don't like how flat the back looks compared to other ones. Now, granted, if this is your only Tumbler, no big deal. I think it looks fine. But compared to the other ones, the back just looks so much more robust. And when we remove the flame, I just don't know that this looks quite as good as the other ones, particularly the 2021 and 2008. Of course, we can open up the roof here, and there's a clip for a batarang up top, but this time around, there is only space for one minifigure to be seated inside. It is tricky to see because of how tight these, seating areas are. But those 2x4 pieces that are exposed in the back are to cover the cape when we sit him down with the rubber cape. So unfortunately, you really can only fit one minifig in here. And just the way it's built, I don't even know if you could possibly mod it to have two minifigs on the inside. It would be really, really cramped. But that being said, it's not a bad model. We just have to keep in mind that what you're looking at here is $60. It is technically the most expensive one. I don't know if that's true if we adjust for inflation technically, but it is very expensive for what we get, and honestly, I do have to say it's kind of my least favorite. Even though the 2013 one was so small, at least you got the bat and those minifigs with it, so I think that one is a little better play value. But with that being said, let's zoom out this video and wrap it up. All right, guys, that is every LEGO Tumbler ever. What an exciting way to look. So, now that we've looked at all of them, I can tell you the ranking of best to worst price ratio. So the worst model is the 2025 model. This one has a price to piece ratio of 13.98 cents per piece. Really, really rough. Then in third place, it's actually the 2008, despite how big it is, with only 449 pieces. This comes out to about 11.4 cents price per piece. In second place, we have the 2013 model, which comes out to 10.87 price per piece ratio, and technically the best value one is the original 2021 Tumbler, and when I say original, of course, I mean of the modern era, but that one comes out to about 9.48 cents per piece, which is the best ratio. So if we're just looking at it price per piece, this one technically is the best. But as we look back and see what all was, included with other ones, in 2008, we had that awesome Joker ice cream van. In 2013, we had the bat with it. And, of course, those came with more minifigures. So it really all just comes down to how you value things. But I think we can all agree, unfortunately, when we compare them all side by side, there's no scenario in which the 2025 is the best value. That being said, the new Joker and Two-Face and the Bat Signal are really cool additions. But I don't know if any of those are cooler than what comes entirely. So at this point, I'll turn it over to you in the comments. Or should I say, I'm turning Gotham over to you, the people. So let's discuss in the comments which one you personally think is the best and or best value. Thanks so much for checking this out. Be sure to check out my other LEGO Superheroes videos, and I'll see you guys on the next video.